Hello and welcome to the weekly update for 8-30, which is week 6 of Strikeout. This week was a little bit lighter for me since we had to deal with the moving process and tearing the computer down and moving it and setting it back up and all that jazz, but we got up and running towards the end of the week. During the week, though, I still managed to get some assets created and implemented into the concourse level, and then I also added some of the assets into the battle stage. I got some camera movements going around, so that way it shifts perspective behind each of the players and each of the enemies based on whose turn it is and who you are focusing on. I did some code cleanup for the battle sequence to help take care of the bug from last week. I took care of the game over state, so now it'll take you into the training area as compared to just kicking you back to the concourse. And then I got some of the macro enemies done for the concourse that just sort of walk around the level. So if we jump into the game here, try this here. Alright, so we have some of our enemies that can walk around. It's a random shot between 1 and 3, so currently the AI isn't entirely working right now of chasing versus not chasing, but you can see the 3 different models that we have, and each of the different food vendors are selling something different. So let's just jump into a battle here. So here is the new look to the concourse battle sequence. So we have a camera sweep to come into it, and then based on whose turn it is, they will drop behind the camera. There's a bit of a camera flare to it. We still have the debug ball that Chris called it in order to demonstrate whose turn it is. And right now we have the starter's turn, so let's pick the slider here. And based on who you're focusing on, the camera will shift over there. I hope to someday get it so it's a little bit smoother, but right now it's still functional. And I will try to demonstrate the bug fix that I got through. So now it's the enemy's turn, so it's that one, they're attacking the closer, and then it'll bounce back around to the middle reliever, and let's go with the slider again. So part of the problem that was last week was whenever I would kill an enemy, I would remove it from the selectable list, which was screwing up part of the code that Chris had helped me to clean up. So I worked around it, so now if you try to select a downed person, then it'll say that that person is downed, and then you'll have to pick somebody else, and it'll kick you back to there. So that took care of that, so now I can make it all the way through the battle in that sense of it. And then I wanted to demonstrate the game over state, so a quick way to get into that would be just jumping straight into the battle sequence where none of the health carries over. So everybody's dead, and then we drop back into the training area, and we have a nice little dizzy animation before they pick back up, and then we can start to walk around and move once more. So that was sort of my week in a nutshell. Let's jump on over to the Trello board here. There we are. And for the upcoming week, I'm going to be finishing up the level design for level 1, which is the concourse area. I'm going to add some treasures, or the items that you can pick up. Going to work on the 2 bosses and get all of those integrated. And then we're going to start to work on the clubhouse side of things. So this might slide over here. And then we're also going to get the enemies to have different attacks and maybe get some camera following in the dungeon. So I'm going to have lots of work if anybody wants to jump into it between writing and voice acting and audio and sound and programming and animations, 3D modeling, maybe a little bit from the UI side of things, but there's a lot of work that I could get some help with if you guys would be more than happy to jump on board. And that is the weekly update for 8-30.